Welcome back to the final part of the show, where we have a dinner date with Professor Luke O'Neill. Eoin Sheehan is in charge of the cooking. So remind us, what we're making and how we get started with it.
So we're going to do a sweet and sticky chicken stir fry. So it's a really kind of quick, fast, warming one for these cold winter nights. And again, it's great to kind of use up what's at home in the fridge and the press. It's really kind of useful ingredients. So first things first, we have these egg noodle nests. Okay, really easy, handy to use. Pop a few into a pot of boiling water. In the same water, throw your broccoli in as well. So use the same pot. It's all the one, because they're going to go into our stir fry in a while as well. So there's no point boiling two different pots and having everything boiling differently, okay?
Saving on the washing up.
Save on the washing up, exactly. I'll make the sauce quickly. So what we have is some soy sauce. So about 3 to 4 tablespoons.
Okay.
Okay. We have some sweet chili sauce. So this is kind of the sweet element coming in. And also we'll do a little bit of honey as well to add some more sweetness. So when we're making these sauces, any of these kind of Asian sauces, we're always kind of thinking of the flavor elements. So we have our kind of spiciness and our saltiness from the soy sauce, the sweetness from the sweet chili and the honey, a little bit of heat from the sweet chili as well, and then we need some acid or acidity or sourness from vinegar.
Okay.
So lemon juice, lime juice, rice wine vinegar, all works the same.
What did you use tonight?
Rice wine vinegar.
Okay.
Whichever you have will work fine.
Okay.
Look, give me a hand, just put a little bit of sauce there. So we'll stir that together.
I'm working hard tonight. I'm like, I'm crying out loud.
Well, we should say we're delighted you were able to stay with us, Luke O'Neill.
I'm only staying for the food. I'm starving, you know.
Okay.
Well, about half an hour ago, actually, of course, there's been so much chat about antigen testing, and Luke gave us a superb demonstration where it's almost like the rule of six. Six swishes this side, six
and
swishes
then
this
into the
side,
tube
and
six.
into the tube for 6.
Yeah.
And the results are in, and
Negative. Thankfully.
There you go.
One line means you're negative.
Yeah.
2 lines means you're positive.
Okay.
2 lines bad, 1 line good is the idea here. So I'm negative, thankfully, which
Good,
means
good.
I
You're
don't
staying
need
for
to
dinner.
isolate. I can stay for dinner, observe distancing and so on. You know, it's a good sign.
So
Good,
perfect,
good.
Luke. Thank you very much. You can leave there. I'll get that for a second. So in the frying pan, then this will all be done in the one pan. So I've just started with some sesame oil. It gives a nice kind of Asian theme to it. But olive oil or vegetable oil would be fine as well. I just started to brown off my chicken. You could marinate your chicken in that sauce too if you wanted. If you're in a rush, if it's midweek, you're trying to get dinner done, chicken in, brown that off. I'm going to get my onion. I have some mushrooms, some bell peppers, 2 cloves of garlic, and a little bit of ginger as well, okay?
Okay. But, and you've chopped them in a chunky way.
Yeah,
exactly.
chunky.
Yeah. So the idea is, even if you didn't have the chicken in there, you'd still be there's still a bit of a bite to it. It kind of gives the element of meatiness to a dish, even though you have a little bit of chicken there as well.
No, I can't do that. It'd be everywhere.
Can't do the tossing.
Can you do that?
No.
It takes a bit of practice. The best thing to do is get like a frying pan with some rice, and then nice and gently you kind of swish away and then pull back to you. Takes a bit of time, and you often drop 1 or 2.
Very skillful.
Yeah. So we'll ramp that up. We'll get that on a nice medium to high heat. A wok would do well for this as well. And then just start to kind of saute and soften them off, okay?
Okay.
In terms of the noodles in the pot there, do you salt that water? Like, do you treat it like pasta? No.
You can. A small bit of salt would be no harm. But again, they're half seasoned as they are, and also they're going to be going into our sauce. So it's not going to make a huge difference at the end of the day, really, okay? So again, and they're really, really quick to cook. They only take probably 2 or 3 minutes in that pot of water, and they'll finish cooking in the sauce anyway.
Okay.
So we'll do a little bit of cumin in here. If there's any left in the bottle, there is. About half a teaspoon of cumin. You could do some chili flakes too. There's plenty of salt in the soy sauce, but I won't overly salt it in the marinade itself, okay? So that's gone in. Give that another toss as well.
What mushrooms did you put in, by the way?
They were just chestnut.
Right.
Kind of any would work. We're going to pour our sauce in on top. Okay? Like so. And again, those sugars will start to caramelize now. So that's why it goes sticky. That's the kind of bubble and the kind of glitz and glamour, and you toss them around. You get a nice kind of glossy colour to it. And then all we're going to do, let that come to a little bit of a simmer and a boil. And as it does, we will strategically bring our noodles from here. If you have a tongs, it makes life much easier. Or a spoon and a fork will work just fine. And then just bring them over into our pot with some of our broccoli florets and everything. But the beauty with this, and I often demo this, and it's one that it's a very common one, especially with students, but you can use whatever veg you want. If you have stuff in the bottom of the fridge that's going to go off, chop it up, throw it in. It doesn't matter what it is. Meat or no meat, it doesn't really matter.
Would
So
this be something that you would cook after a long day, Luke?
Always.
Well,
Oh,
easy.
Luke, sorry.
But I'd use those mixers. I'm lazy. You buy them and you stick them in.
Oh, exactly, a pre-made sauce or
Pre-made
whatever.
sauce,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
And there's
Over the
nothing
show,
wrong with them, but again, it's only 3 or 4 ingredients. And most of us have soy
easy.
sauce, and we have sweet chili, and we have a lemon or vinegar or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So again, give that another toss. Start to kind of incorporate and break down the noodles inside there. And it's like perfect for a midweek. There's not that much work or prep to it. I literally can do it from scratch here, live on TV, so you
Yeah,
can
you
surely
did,
do it
yeah.
at home
Right.
in your own time.
It's pretty
So-
quick, and you can do it in a few minutes.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, and most kind of stir fries or Asian dishes should be like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of minimal ingredients. Everyone has their part to play. Sweetness, sourness, acidity, the volume from the veg, and then whatever noodles you want in.
And you've
So
all your food groups, Martin. They're all here.
See?
Roughage,
it's genuinely
everything,
easy.
you know, a
It's
bit of
quite a
protein.
healthy dish as well, yeah.
Very healthy. Yeah.
Very healthy dish. So let that kind of simmer. The longer you have, the better. You'll find that sauce will just reduce down. It'll get thick, it'll get silky, it'll stick to all the veg, and you serve it up.
Very nice. Luke, can we talk about, we were talking about the efficacy of vaccines, booster vaccines as well, but in teenagers, some
Yeah.
really interesting data emerging
It's a
there.
remarkable study. 100% protective in teenagers. Incredibly, the Pfizer vaccine recent trial has shown that, which is remarkable, you know.
How can we explain that?
Well,
What
they're
is it
young. They're young, and they get a great response to the vaccine. Their immune systems are on fire, basically, and you get a massive response to the vaccine in teenagers. Which is, I mean, we did get nearly 100, you know, in the original trials.
Yeah.
Remember? So, but this really confirms how powerful that vaccine is.
So say for what the bit of chat there is about vaccinating under 12s, if
Yeah.
my 6-year-old was to get vaccinated, would he potentially be 100%
That's the
protected?
prediction. And there's data already in the over 5s. They're vaccinating the over 5s now in the US, for instance.
And how do you feel
Great
about
response. Well, eventually it'll have to be done, really can. Not right now, I would say, because we need vaccine supply for the developing world. But if we want to clear this virus out completely, children will need to be vaccinated. Great safety data in the children, which is very reassuring for parents, obviously, you know. So we'll move towards that, I predict, after Christmas will be the... and they may well approve it before Christmas, by the way, for children. So we'll see what happens next.
Okay.
Okay.
With the boosters, when should we be getting them? Like, a lot of people will be hitting
Yeah.
5 and 6 months since they got their
Pressing,
second
Martin,
boost.
for 4 months after the second shot, you should get your booster.
Really?
That's a good time to get it, actually. No need to wait for 5 or 6. And with Christmas coming, you see, as I said earlier, we want all the people over 60 boosted by the first week in December. Would be great, because then you can visit them and be a
Yeah.
bit more relaxed about it. You
Yeah,
know?
because a lot of those 60 pluses, they would be beyond the 4 months.
It could be January, February for some of them, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
past the dangerous time in a way, you know. So we're pressing. They may well make that recommendation. We hope they do.
Also interesting findings about COVID-resistant people.
Yes, there are people walking who never catch it. Basically, they're really protected. We'd love to know what's in their bodies. They're making so many antibodies, probably is one reason. They're souped up, basically, and they can clear the virus on contact. If we could find out what's in them, we could use that to treat other people ultimately as well.
Would these be people who maybe just have take a lot of vitamin D? Like, would they be exposed to
It's
sunshine?
probably genetic, we think. It runs
Okay.
in families, you know, and as we know, there's different genes, and your immune system has different genes. They must have particularly supercharged immune genes that clear the virus. That's very
Okay,
interesting.
this is really important because Julie was in touch asking if a person tests positive for COVID-19 and are due their booster, can they get the booster or do they have to wait?
They can, yes. The vaccine, the booster is the safest way to get protection. Like, you may get natural infection, it mightn't be that strong, and it mightn't work effectively, whereas we know the booster works. So the advice will be, even if you're infected, take the booster. Everybody should take the booster when they're offered it, is the message.
Owen has done a tremendous job.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. Lovely.
And we're all going to tuck in.
That is all the time for folks. I hope you enjoyed our longer show. It's nice to be on after 7. Thank you to all of our guests, to Luke for keeping us informed,
Thanks
and
very
Cam
much.
and Owen, of course, for feeding us.